When facing a court appearance, your main goal is to use the most effective and direct strategy at your first hearing to secure a dismissal. Ideally, this means your case is resolved immediately, sparing you from further involvement with the legal system. The rest of this guide is for cases that continue past this first stage. Think of court as a strategic game, like poker, where the stakes are high. On one side are your freedom, money, and property, and on the other is the court's claimed authority and power. To win, you must invoke your common law rights, which are the foundation of your defense. Efforts are underway to shift courts toward Article 3 common law jurisdiction, following sealed orders from the U.S. Attorney General. If this transition spreads, defending your rights could soon become much easier. Your primary objective is simple. Exit the court system as quickly as possible by getting your case dismissed or thrown out. The longer you stay entangled in legal proceedings, the greater your risk of losing money, and the more vulnerable you become to unfavorable rulings or outcomes. The judge, their goal is to convict you quickly, collect fines, and maintain authority. The prosecutor, their aim is to secure a conviction, even if it means bending the truth, and use your case as an example to deter others. Knowing who's involved in the courtroom is crucial. First, there's you, the defendant, at the center of it all. The judge appears impartial, but works within a system often stacked against you. The prosecutor is a skilled adversary, using tactics to win the case. If there's a jury, they can be swayed by either side. Officers and witnesses may support or challenge your case. Your counselors are your allies, guiding you through the process. Judges and prosecutors are seasoned professionals who often work together against you. They may present their words as absolute truth, even when they are not. Prosecutors often use unfair tactics, including deceit, to secure convictions. Lawyers may prioritize their own interests over justice, using their bar association membership to manipulate court procedures for financial gain. Recognize you're entering a rigged game where truth and justice are often secondary to financial gain. Courts frequently act as cash register courts, prioritizing revenue over fairness. By simply appearing, you're presumed guilty by the officer and the court system. Judge and prosecutor often collaborate, working in a system built to extract money and enforce obedience. Imagine getting a traffic ticket. By signing, you're already seen as guilty by default. In court, the judge and prosecutor assume your guilt unless you effectively challenge their jurisdiction. Success in court requires strategic thinking and precise execution. At your first appearance, focus on getting the case dismissed by immediately challenging jurisdiction. This step is critical because if jurisdiction goes unchallenged, it's much harder to assert other defenses later on. Politely ask the judge to clarify if they are operating under Article 3 common law jurisdiction and their authority. Understand that your approach will influence how others respond. A confident, prepared defense can unsettle even experienced judges. Learn strategies for every stage while prioritizing case dismissal. It's essential to know and assert your rights during any court appearance. While lower courts may not recognize all constitutional protections, these rights remain fundamental. First, the right to be informed of the charges against you, as per the Sixth Amendment. Second, the right to reserve your rights explicitly. Third, the right to remain silent, protected by the Fifth Amendment. Fourth, the right to speak freely and be heard under the First Amendment. Fifth, the right to represent yourself. Sixth, the right to object to statements by judges or prosecutors. Seventh, the right to recuse a biased judge. Eighth, the right to call witnesses for your defense. Ninth, the right to legal counsel for assistance. 10th, the right to a fair trial by an impartial jury. 11th, the right to appeal judicial decisions. And finally, the right to due process before losing liberty or property. Example, application. If a judge rushes proceedings without explaining charges, invoke your Sixth Amendment right by saying, "I respectfully request clarification on the nature and cause of these charges." Like and follow if this helped. To minimize risk and maximize effectiveness, focus on strategies that leverage constitutional protections, especially the Fifth and Sixth Amendments. Prepare thoroughly by studying relevant laws and procedures until you can confidently present them in court. Use this guide selectively, focusing on what applies most directly to your case. Final tip. Remember the key strategies and rights outlined here, so you won't be easily outmaneuvered during proceedings.